Hey ladies, today I am going to be showing you the acrylic process top to bottom. I'm going to begin showing you guys how to do the acrylic nail process, or to apply acrylic nails from top to bottom, from beginning to end. This is just how I apply acrylics. It's worked for me for many years, so I hope this will help someone. I hope you guys will stay tuned and watch. The very first thing that you need to do is wash your hands or use some hand sanitizer. Okay, so my first steps are going to involve prepping the natural nail. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clippers and I'm going to clip back the natural nail as close down as you can without, of course, hurting yourself. Whatever, if it breaks, it's not going to rip your natural nail off. If there's too much free edge on your natural nail, it may cause some damage if it gets pulled off for whatever reason. You're going to take a nail file and you're going to, and this is my nail file that I use for just tutorials, so no worries, this will not be used on anybody. Go ahead and shape it. Now what you would do is you would apply some cuticle remover. So you're going to apply that all on the cuticle area and the nail folds on the side. So since this is plastic, you obviously won't be able to see very well. I do have a nail prep video if you guys want to go check that out on how to get around the cuticles and to use the nippers and all of that. But you could either go wash your hands, or what I use is a spray, a very light mist spray bottle full of half alcohol and half water. And this is just to remove any of that cuticle remover, so there's no lifting. You remove any debris that may be left and really just cleanse that nail plate completely. If you guys do want to see more about preparing the natural nail on a real nail and not just this my nail trainer, feel free to go to my other nail prep video that I will post a link to right there, and just go check it out and see. Hopefully someone will learn something from it. Now on a natural nail, the nail plate will be shiny, and that is due to oils, your natural oil. So you're going to take the 180 side of your 180-100 file and you're going to gently buff. Now some people like to use their E-file. I don't, because I like to be very careful about how much I'm taking off of the natural nail. If you get too wild with it, you could end up with really thin and painful natural nail beds, and it does take a long time to come back from that, so please be careful on this step. So if you've got a nail brush, go ahead and remove the dust. I like to use my duster. Alright, so we've now prepared the nail bed, and whatever dehydrator that you have, you're going to dehydrate the nail. The purpose of the dehydrator is to not only remove any more of the natural oils that you didn't get but when gently buffing the nail plate, but it's also going to balance your pH, which will allow the acrylic to adhere better to your natural nail beds. So you're gonna, that actually works very well. So what I personally like to use is the Hurry Up Nail Glue Dryer. I feel like I have more control with it, so I'm gonna lightly spray it. I kind of have to work fast with this stuff. I take my glue. I'm gonna apply just a little bit of glue in the well area. Now these don't have wells, but we're gonna pretend like it does. So go ahead and wipe it once, 45-degree angle, and then straight down. Go ahead and trim it. Trim it to however you like. I do have another video on tips, and I'll actually, at the end of the video there's going to be annotations, or there's going to be links for you guys to go to. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to make them kind of short. press gently on your nail folds. And I'm doing a square, so I'm gonna do it perpendicular, straight. For the sake of time, I just like to do this on really low speed. I take my e-file and I use a sander bit. Turn it down very low. And I'm going to gently blend the tip. Just to, I mean, if you're using a clear, you're gonna wanna blend it more. But I just wanna get some of that excess glue off. I wanna make it pretty flush to the natural nail. And then I'm going to quickly go over the rest of the plastic nail tip to remove any of that natural shine. And you're going to want to do this so it'll help to adhere better to the plastic. And you want to do this fairly often just to keep the nail clean and keep it ready. So you take your dehydrator again, spray it again. Take your primer. I use the IBD Natural Nail Primer. Now, you're going to do 2 coats of this. I'm just doing 1 so it doesn't have to dry too long. You remove the excess on a paper towel, and you're going to apply the primer on the natural nail only, being careful not to get that on your cuticle area at all. Alright, so I'm back. So I'm going to start after you prep the nail and get the nail tip on. You're going to grab a ball of pink. Well, in this case, pink for me. I'm doing a simple glittery pink and white. I'm going to place that almost to your cuticle area and gently angle the finger down. This will prevent any runoff into your cuticle area. You're going to gently push that up and pat into place all over the natural nail, all the way around. Now I picked up the perfect size for this nail bed. Normally I work in 2-3 different, usually just 2 different balls of acrylic, but very important not to have the acrylic go over the sides of the nails or touch your cuticle area, because that will cause lifting. So you're going to go ahead and clean up your smile line as you're working and continue to pat into place. Okay. This one I'm going to, clear. I'm applying backwards, if you guys could see. And I'm going to gently fade that back, because you're going to want the stress point to be around your smile area. So you're going to want that to be thicker, but you're going to want your nail or your cuticle area to be rather flush. So we're going to go ahead and just pat that into place, blend it backwards, and continue to pat and move the product around to where you need it to be. So we've got our nail bed done, and I'm going to move on to my color. And this one I'm just going to be doing a shimmery pink and white. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up a ball of white. I'm going to do it rather large ball. So what I do is I put my brush on the side of the free edge and I scrape it off. And then I just press into place. Since you've already done your smile line in reverse, you're not going to have to worry about making sure that when applying your free edge color, you're not going to have to worry about it being too perfect, because you've already done the work. Right, pick another size. It's about a medium. Press into place and down that smile line. Now you can make your smile lines as deep as you want. I like mine to be a bit deeper. In this one, I'm not doing it as deep. Just for the sake of time. It does take a bit longer to do. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to allow this to dry. It usually takes, it does depend on your humidity. I am in Texas and we usually have 100% humidity. Crazy, I know, and it's summer, so right now, I believe earlier it was 106, I want to say. Yeah, it's pretty hot. And the feel like temperature was even hotter, so you don't see anybody outside today. If you do see them outside, they're at the pool. But yeah, definitely your humidity and everything will affect the dry time. But this, for me, I'm using DVD-C. It usually takes 3 minutes to completely dry and be ready for filing. So I'm going to allow this to dry and I'll be right back. As your acrylic starts to set on your tip, once it starts to warm up, you can pinch the nails, which will make a C-curve shape. Or if you don't have one of those, you could just use your fingers. Use your nails and just push that nail to have it. Okay, so this nail is dry now. You'll hear the clicking. You're gonna take your 100 from your 180 or 180 side file. I'm sorry, and the first thing you're gonna do is you're going to push the skin, the side of the nail down to release any acrylic that has overlapped, and you're going to gently file that straight out. We're going to do this on either side. Okay, now you're going to clean up the free edge. I think my first set I ever did took me like 6 hours. But don't feel discouraged, because the more you practice and the more you research and work on your techniques, the faster you will get. So I have gently buffed the area away on the acrylic itself, so it is already pretty smooth. If you take a look at the profile of the nail, you will notice it's thin. Goes slightly thicker around the smile line, and then it is thinner towards the edge, or the free edge rather. I'm using a medium coarse file. You might want to use the coarsest one you have to start off with, but I've already got it pretty smooth just by hand filing that quickly. Doesn't want to work with me today. So what I'm doing is I'm going back with my 100 size, or 100 grit file rather, and I'm just going to gently buff that nail again. I'm going to go to your 180 side, gently buff. Now this helps if you're doing any type of color. Since this isn't a natural nail, I want to just show you guys the buffing process. If you are using a UV gel top coat, which is what I use, you're not going to want to buff. If you do buff, as long you want to get that smooth as you can just by using a regular file, or your e-file, or a combination, whatever. But you don't want to buff, because that's not going to allow the gel to adhere very well. And it does help if it is still has the any little scuffs or lines from your 100 by 180 file. So but in this example, this isn't a real nail, it doesn't get any wear and tear, so I'm just showing you guys this quickly. You can use any one that you like. I personally, I should have had this ready. I personally prefer Glaze and Go. It's from NSI. It's pretty inexpensive. You can get this. I've actually purchased mine off of Amazon, or you get it off eBay. You're gonna want to apply a very thin coat from cuticle to free edge in long strokes. You don't want to get this at all. Now, when I say at all, I mean at all on any of your cuticle area. Not because this is bad for you, but because if you put it in the UV lamp and it does harden, you will have major problems, because it basically is a hard sealer. I guess if you want to call it, turns very hard, and it's like glass. I'm trying to get it off. That's what it seriously feels like, glass. You're gonna have this awkward glossy thing over your natural skin, and it's just gonna be really awkward. But go ahead and apply just like regular nail polish. You don't need to do anything fancy to it. Make sure to seal your free edge, and then from here you're going to cure for 2 minutes, and I will be back to show you the final step. Okay, so I have finished curing the UV gel, the top coat, and as you can see, here is the finished result. Turn this aside so you could see the kind of the structure of the nail itself. So you're able to see it's thinner, goes to a little bit thicker, and then back down to being thin again. This was very easy to do, and it shouldn't take too long. It took me a bit longer because I was explaining everything, but your last step is to apply cuticle oil around your cuticles, and I'm actually not going to do this on here, but you just apply cuticle oil around the cuticle area, and you're just going to massage in from there. Go have either yourself or whoever you're doing nails on, go wash their hands, and you are done. You have a completed acrylic nail. So I hope some of you guys enjoyed this. Hope someone learned something from this. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments. Request anything you might want to see in the future, design-wise, or anything like that. Or if you feel more comfortable, you could always PM me on my channel, and I will answer any questions you might have. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't done so already, please comment, rate, and subscribe if you would, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, ladies.